Yeah, I mean, look, winning's hard. You have a team come in and play a certain way where, their goal was to try to milk and control as much clock as possible to essentially bleed the game out and get us in a position where we make some mistakes and do that. I think there's obviously things that we got to clean up, and there's things that we can do a lot better with. But I liked the fact that we had no real lulls as a football team. Defensively, we played well start to finish. Had the one series where we had a couple penalties in and gave them a chance to drive the field. But answered the bell in a couple other spots in the game, and so that was a big positive. And then I thought offensively, there was a lot of plays. We were pretty efficient in a lot of situations in the game, and there was a couple other things. I think Mike Fitzgerald's really working hard on the one screen. It's a big play, and they call it back with a hold and a couple things there. So, look, a lot of things to clean up, but we're happy with the win, and we enjoy it for a few hours and then go on to the next one.
Jay, how is Caden? Do you know, did he just miss a corner blitz on that? And what is your confidence level in Sims if he has to be the guy?
Okay, so two parts to it. Number one, the back missed the pickup on it, and so we're supposed to pick up the guy, and we didn't pick him up, and he blows up the quarterback. Caden's getting checked out. I don't have full information on everything. It's not a concussion type of deal. The first check of some things that they did that I do know of came back good. So we'll see. He'll be sore and that type of thing. I think everybody in the program, and I said this in really August, I think, coming out of the spring, everybody in the program has a real confidence in Landon Sims. If Landon Sims has to go out there for an extended period of time or a part-time period of time, he kept the drive alive with a scramble today. He kept the drive alive with his feet and completed a ball. Got it, on that, and he got us in a couple of really good run checks at different times. We've got a lot of confidence in Landon, and we do that. But hopefully Caden is all right and back. I just don't have the full thing, and that'll be something that'll kind of get to everybody on Monday.
Coach, any concerns about the number of penalties today?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there's ones that we can control. There's others that look, we just got to look at and see kind of what it was and that type of thing. We had fewer penalty yards than 9 of our 12 opponents a year ago. We had 40 yards of penalties in the first game. I think we were under 50 yards of penalties 8 times a year ago. Okay.
Jay, you said last week you didn't want Sam to have 29 carries a game. Are you pretty pleased with the 3 guys, 8 carries or less, being very productive today?
No. Yeah, I mean, look, I think everybody was productive. I think the thing is that, look, I think there was a couple times that, I think we, as coaches, I made the mistake of, in terms of late third quarter of just, hey, let's just keep going. And we got a sack on a play and lost a bunch of yards and that type of thing there and kind of ruined a drive. I really think we probably could have pounded a little bit more and done that, but guys that played did a good job. And look, we had a real efficiency to it. I thought Teron Kelman, the big run coming off the goal line after the interception, I just kind of got everybody on a good pace there. I think that Sam Harris, could show the flashes of what he can become, and Sam Scott had some good plays in there. So look, we're deep at that position. We're deep at several positions, and I think it shows, in a game like today and that type of thing.
Jay, does the offense change at all with Landon in there instead of Caden? And then who would be behind Landon right now in that room?
So the offense, doesn't have to change with Landon. Landon probably adds an element where he is fast. I mean, he does have that. But I think you always got to be careful. Like, we would start with our offense as quarterback run. I mean, that's not always the thing there. But Landon doesn't really have to change what we do a lot. that way. Right now, if behind him would be Gage Brook. And then, look, we'll have a complete conversation as to, does that involve Mason a little bit more? Look, I don't even know what Caden may be practicing on Monday for all. I mean, I don't know. But no, we don't really have to change anything with Landon.
Jay, do you think the defense got even better today than its performance in Akron? And even though they gave up the 7, and I'm not bringing up penalties, almost a shutout, pretty much another shutout.
Yeah, I was really happy with the defense. I think, look, we worked on everything that we saw today. We saw it from them at Drake. They didn't do any of that in the first game, but we weren't, naive to the fact that this was their offense and how they were going to try to attack us. But, there was still some kind of weird, unorthodox plays in there and that type of thing. And until and then all of a sudden, once we got settled into it, then I think we really played strong in the second half. I think they had like 100 yards at halftime, and they finished with 169, so they had 69 in the second half. And they had, you're less than 3 yards of play. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm really happy with what we've been doing defensively. And we got a lot of room for growth. I mean, the great thing about it, like you got Tyrese Boss out there, he's a redshirt freshman. Marquis Grant out there, he's a redshirt freshman. Gary got going a little bit today. Bogar got going a little bit today. And then again, we played a number of people, and it's going to pay off for us. And I really feel that we have a chance to be pretty good on that side of the ball.
Coach, as you watch that D line, I mean, I think you guys are allowing just under 3 yards per carry right now. The run defense must be standing out.
Yeah, I mean, I feel, look, and it needs to. And look, we're going to get tested, obviously at an extreme level a week from now. And I think that, all these things, but I've been really happy with, it's not just how we're playing up front, but where we're fitting in the second and third levels on stuff. Because a lot of times run defense is a total team thing. And right now we're playing pretty well team defense. We're getting off blocks. We're tackling very well. When you do those types of things, good things happen. And been happy with how we've been playing up front too. And Sam Sula's doing a good job. Jaden Williams had a great week of practice, so it doesn't surprise me he played pretty good. So just keep going.
Are we going to see any more sets or more often sets of Evan Swoboda like we did in that 3rd and 2? And what was it like to see him get celebrated in a moment like that?
Yeah, I mean, that was, that's obviously the ability to do that with him at times is obviously something that, we always need to keep in mind and keep alive for us. And it was a good play for us at that time. Keep a drive going, get us a touchdown. I don't think that's the last of it that you'll see. So.
Jay, obviously you're in a little bit of a different situation going into week 3 this year than you were last year. I mean, how are you feeling just momentum-wise within this program with Utah and Dick?
Well, look, I think there's 2 things to it. Number one, we have a largely healthy football team. Now we got to see how Caden is and everything that way. But in a number of positions, we're really healthy right now. That's a big piece of it. We're much deeper. We're bigger. We're faster at a lot of positions. So all that, it translates. Like you just watch how we play. We play, it's just, there's a lot of things different about it. And yes, I feel a lot better that way. But the biggest thing that I feel good about is the fact that we have a long ways to go before we reach, like we're not like a finished product. This isn't, we have a lot of improving that we can do and will do. And, like I said, winning's hard. We slugged through today. It wasn't always pretty and everything that way, but we did what we needed to do. And I think people show up today and say we're going to win by 24 points. Everybody be kind of happy with it. So.
Minus the Caden injury, this kind of worked out perfectly, didn't it? You got a bunch of guys in at the end there. How cool was it to see guys like Tegan Seeds and Cody Crawford?
I love Tegan Seeds and Cody Crawford, and those 2 guys, man, they play hard. They work hard. They're Wyoming guys. They love this place. Their teammates love them. I love the fact that those 2 guys got in and played and did that. But look, that's not going to be the last time those guys play. And Cody Crawford is a guy that, like right now he's number 5 for us at defensive tackle. But if he had to go in and play, I wouldn't be, scared of that. And Tegan works hard too. So really happy for those guys. I'm really happy. like I said, as a team, I thought it was a good team win today, in the fact that we had special teams contributed, offense did their part, what we needed to do, defense played really, really well. And when you look at it, it's a well-rounded win. Maybe there could have been more flash to it. Maybe we could have, helped ourselves if we didn't have a couple other penalties or that type of thing there. But the effort was really good, and our execution can get a whole lot better, and that's an exciting thing.
So in the offseason, you talked about recruiting up. I mean, obviously the stat line shows, with tackles, with Johnson again, second week, Sabona, and Teron Killman. Can you kind of talk about these transfers and what kind of impact they're making on the team right now?
Yeah, we had gaps in last year's roster, and then with a group of people that cycled out, we needed maturity, we needed, gaps filled in different age groups, And look, I think just like today, thanks to the fans of Wyoming, we have 5 guys on official visits right now. This will be a really positive recruiting weekend for us because, game days here are tremendous, right? But the transfer part, look, we did a really good job. We still have a long season to go and a lot of that to do. But when you go right down the list from Enoch to Braden Johnson to Stulsatz to Chisholm Ifiani, Bogart, Teron Kelman, you just go right down the list of all these guys. I'm leaving people out right now. I know that. Desmond Hearns. We identified guys who had chips on their shoulder, good people, play hard, that type of thing. And luckily we were able to do that. And look, there's been things that helped us do that too. And so I'm really happy with that group of players right now. And within the culture of the team, how they work out, how they've blended in with Jack Walsh and Caden Barnett and all those guys. Landon Sims lives with those guys, and that type of thing. And Josiah Pataya is with Barnett at my radio show the other night. And Josiah is going to be a really good player in this program. There's been a seamless mesh of people, which isn't always the case year to year. That's, we hit some lightning with that group in that regard as far as how they've meshed and how that goes. Nobody says we're perfect. We got a long ways to go, but I'm really happy with that group.
So Dion DeBlanc, he obviously had a little bit of a rookie mistake at Akron. Is it pretty encouraging to kind of see him settle in there at the end today?
Yeah, look, Dion, we got done with the game, and in the time of the game, we made a change to Charlie Conan during the game because I just, we just need somebody steady back there that's going to make a good decision. We got done with the game, and I told Dion, you will start next week as a punt returner. I believe in you, and everybody's going to have it. And Dion was crying after the Akron game, right? He was so crushed and so disappointed in himself. I'm like, look, we're going to stick with you. And so we came back this week. Dion DeBlanc's going to be the starting punt returner. And look, I believe in him to create big plays for us. He had a couple good returns. He really had another return that unfortunately got called back today. But I think you can see why we want to stick with him.
Coach, what were you able to take away from Tyrese Boss's performance today?
Yeah, look, I'm a big Tyrese Boss fan right now, and I think coming out of the spring, I thought he had a chance. About partway into fall camp, I just kept seeing it, and I'm like, this guy's going to be pretty good. And I wasn't expecting it to that level, how good he's become. Look, he's infinitely better than what we played with at corner a year ago. Okay.
Coach, can you specify what they're looking at on Anderson? Is it his knee or his rib cage?
Somewhere in the upper body up in here. I don't know exactly. Okay. I know exactly, but until I know what it is, it's in the upper body. So, all good? All right, you guys have a good night. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, questions for Evan.
Evan, obviously we saw you pick off a couple passes there in spring and fall. How does it feel to go out and do it in a game after obviously redshirting last year?
It feels great, honestly. I mean, it's one thing to do it in practice all the time, but like it doesn't really matter until you apply it to the game. So it felt good, especially in the red zone, especially after unfortunate, quick change of like, they went from getting a strip sack. I think I wasn't really watching, but they got a strip sack and they were back in our red zone like right off the bat. Got on the field for 2 plays and then got right back off the field. So it's just kind of a testament to how our mindset is this whole season. Like we'll have the offense's back, they'll have our back. So I think it was definitely a blessing for sure.
Evan, so many new faces back there on the defense. How have you guys been able to mesh so far? And this is really a shutout, isn't it? Did it feel like shutout number 2?
You think that was a late hit? I don't think that was a late hit, but that should have been a 4th down stop. But anyways, it feels good for sure. Like just playing together in the spring, obviously a lot of new faces in the summer too, playing together in fall camp. Like we put in a lot of time together as far as like talking about communication, whether that's in the locker room, that's up in the training table when we're eating meals together, or if it's a walkthrough that goes till 9 p.m. during fall camp. Like we're just all on the same page and we're confident together. We know what we got to do. We got to have good eyes, good leverage, good effort, good physicality, and we should play well. So, the new faces are here. Guys are going to doubt us because, we're not in the defense for super long, but shoot, I think as long as we play hard and we just keep communicating, we'll be in good shape.
Evan, I know you guys played 22 guys defensively last week. Not sure how many this week, but how good does it feel just to have that depth at all these key positions on the defense?
It feels great, especially like just being able to trust more guys than the starting 11 that you put out there. Keep guys fresh because, obviously, I think 2 drives today we had. Coach Aaron told us it was 28 plays. And it's like you got guys out there, 28 plays in a matter of 2 or 3 minutes. Like, you got to keep guys fresh. So it's definitely a lot of confidence, and it brings a lot of confidence to us because, just knowing, like, coming into the game, like, oh, I might get in today, or, like, I might be the difference today, and the guy who makes a play and just changes the whole tone of the game. So just being able to know that the coaches have faith in us, and we have that many guys that can play to that level of like exceeding on the field and just being a ball player is super, like, it just brings you a lot of confidence.
Back-to-back weeks with an interception from a linebacker. How big is it for your defense to have 2 linebackers who can effectively stop the run to also be reliable in pass coverage?
It's huge. There's a lot of teams that just play and they rely on their linebackers just to be run stoppers. And then after that, it's just like DBs, like shut them down in the pass or just rely on the pass rush. But just to have guys, because, we have 5 or 6 guys in the linebacker room that could come in and do the same thing. So being able to get picks and in the linebacker room, but also, we have DBs making good run fits and making good stops at the line of scrimmage. Like having guys be able to play, like just be multidimensional and not being like a pass first guy, but having like a lot of different aspects that they can help the team with. I think that's huge, and it just shows how much like we've been working and like the versatility of our defense as a whole.
Yeah, Evan, I felt like you guys were tackling really good in the open field today, which I know was an issue last year. How pleased are you with that, and how important is it to keep that up heading in the coming weeks?
Yes, sir. That's super important. That's one thing that we talk about all the time, and we keep track of in fall camp and in spring ball, and we call it a cup. You keep the cup. Just if you have an outside guy, inside guy, and a guy on top just to make the tackle, but that's the best type of, like, as long as we keep leverage. Like, that's how you limit explosive plays. If you look back at last year and even 2023, I wasn't even here, but watching the film, it's like the only big plays we had was when you got out leverage. So being able to tackle in the open field, keep the ball, funneled into one spot, and like even if you miss it with good leverage, like your help's coming inside out. So that's a huge deal for us, and that's one thing that's helping us succeed so far this year.
Evan, does the linebacker room right now have a little bit of a edge on the DBs, being able to say, hey, we got 2 picks, you only have 1?
Yeah, I think so. I was talking to Des today. I said as soon as he got 1, I tried to match it. But yeah, we got an edge on him, but we like to talk a little smack to each other back and forth. But at the same time, as long as the defense is getting takeaways, we're in good shape. We're happy about it.
Evan, you mentioned obviously just feeling blessed for that interception, but just going back to getting this extra year, how special is it to go play in front of a crowd like this today for you personally?
Yeah, it's super special, man. That redshirting decision was hard, and I appreciate the coaches for how they took it. But it was a pretty easy decision for me as far as like, just wanted to maximize what I had here, and I knew what I had to offer. And, hopefully you guys will see that as the season goes. And that's like, I'm really putting my, just my life on the line. And like, I want to dedicate my whole season to like playing for this state and just like showing them like my passion and my physicality. But yeah, I mean, it's just such an honor to come out here and play in front of all these fans. And, I never played significant snaps in front of a fan base like this where they're cheering for me instead of me being like at an away environment. So it's such a cool opportunity, and I'm just super grateful for it.
2-0, how's the vibe compared to this time last year?
Oh, compared to last year, shoot, it's completely different. But at the same time, we just have a sense of urgency, a sense of confidence. And I mean, there's a lot of games we left out on the field last year, and it's like, there's this next play coming up. It's not just another play. Like, it could be the play that changes the game. We kind of just have to have that mindset. But at the same time, coming to the 2-0, like, we believe that we could win these games, and we believe that we could win these next two and win out this season. But, like, the reality of it is, like, these games are behind us. We were supposed to win these games, and, like, we have to get a lot better from this week to next week. So this next week of preparation has to be great. Like, we have to exceed a lot.
Evan, how cool was it at the end to see Tegan Seeds and Cody Crawford get in this game?
It's great. You should. I mean, I know you're in practice a lot, but these guys play their butts off. Like, if you see them in the scrimmages, they're running to the ball, flying to the ball out of the pack, and these guys just play their butts off. Like, you see them how they work in the weight room. They're just so diligent. Like, it's easy to give up or just not lock in as much when you're not a guy that goes out first, or you don't get 20, 30, 40 snaps a game. Like, they come out ready to go. So it really just is a testament again to like our culture here. And just having guys like that ready, I mean, it's so cool to see like everybody on the team eating. So,
Evan, you talked about needing to improve on defense and as the team in general. How do you and this defense kind of go into the next game week ready to try and go 1-0 again?
Yes, sir. So, I mean, definitely penalties today. That one drive with the touchdown, we had the holding call on the TFL that would have got him to 3rd and 14. My late hit that, I didn't think was a late hit, but it is what it is. Got him out for 4th and 10 probably, and then the PI that could put him on the 2-yard line. Just being smarter with that. I know sometimes you can't control that, but you can control your emotions and the late hits and all that type of stuff. And as far as that, we just got to prepare very well as far as watching film. Prepare like every week. Like, we got to start tomorrow, come in Monday ready to go, know what these guys are trying to do, watch them tonight, or they already played, I think, Cal Poly, and just being able to watch that game, watch the UCLA game the week before that, because these guys are going to come in here ready to play, but we need to protect our home field, and we just got to continue to get better, be more physical, watch our film from today, and just maximize everything that we got coming forward. Good. Appreciate you.
Next player's coming in.
Yep, just up top there.
So how y'all doing?
All right, questions for Mr. Durr.
Chris, another good game for the offense. I guess, what did you see just from the start, the way you guys started to into the third quarter?
It just was a spark, coming out the halftime, big speech from Coach Avell, and just, having us come out, defense get a stop and we go score. So it was just a spark for us, and, opportunity to get better. And I feel like we got better in the second half than what we started with.
Chris, how hard is it to see your quarterback go down like that, and how much faith do you have in Landon Sims if he has to be your guy going forward?
It's hard. I almost, shed a tear because Caden is, like my best friend. So it's a tough one to swallow, a tough pill to swallow. But, we don't know what's going on. So hopefully he's all right. So, and I believe in Landon a lot. So hopefully, we get some reps with him this week, and we're going to have a great week this week of practice.
I think on that first drive, you guys came out like 6 plays without a huddle. Do you feel like that pace kind of plays to your advantage, just especially at altitude, being able to play that fast?
Yeah, for sure. Any team that comes to the war is going to have to deal with, playing 2 teams, the altitude and us. So, it's something that we have an advantage over everybody coming to playing them and, you know, them have to get adjusted. And I feel like tempo with our type of offense is going to be only going to help us more than hurt us.
Coach talked about explosive plays, you know, throughout the offseason. What's it like for you on the field to be able to go out there and make those explosive plays and make that happen? Is that something that how do you practice for that to make it happen?
Oh, it's just normal. You know, for me, you know, I do it all the time in practice. And it's just like, just come out there and pretend like it's practice and, you know, do what you've been doing all week. So, you know, going out there and making an explosive play, it's not thinking about the explosive play. It's thinking about just going out there and doing your job. And I feel like doing my job is just, you know, what I'm good at. So.
You go up against Tyrese Boss a lot in practice, I'm sure. Did you know he was going to be this good this early?
Oh, for sure. You know, I talked to you guys last week about in the game. Y'all was asking me about him. Guys like Jones Thomas and Marky Grant. You know, them guys were some guys to, you know, give a bunch of bump with in fall camp, spring ball. And I knew they were going to have a good year this year, you know, with them being redshirt and learning and having that experience. So, yeah.
You know, it's nice to sit here and hear a happy locker room. How big has these past 2 weeks been for the chemistry of this football team?
Oh, it's been huge. You know, us just coming together as brothers, no matter, you know, what positions we are, and just, you know, building that bond to just become one and, you know, rely on each other no matter what the circumstances are.
Yeah, I mean, how nice is it to have a defense that's getting all these takeaways and just basically keeping the opposing offense off the field to let you guys kind of do your work?
Oh, it feels good. You know, it takes a stress relief off your back to know that, okay, we do have a chance in the game and, you know, defense is going to keep fighting and we just got to help them out.
Good.
Thank you, guys.
Pictures.
Thank you.
All right, questions for Jay, Mike.
John, when you caught that touchdown pass, could you believe you were that open?
No, actually, because I felt man. I thought there was going to be a guy on my hip, and when I didn't feel it and turned to Caden, like I think you could see, I was like waving at him, and caught his eye, and yeah, but that was fun.
Hey, Jay, Mike, if you guys have to go forward with Landon, how much faith do you have in him, and do you kind of have a thing going with him in practice? Feel comfortable there?
Absolutely, full faith in Landon. He actually lives with myself, Barnett, Tice, and we love him. Great guy. Full faith in him and everything that he's going to be asked to do moving forward. We don't know the stats of Caden yet. Haven't seen him. Don't know where he is. Praying for him, but yeah, moving forward with Landon, full faith.
You feel like this was kind of like a bounce back week for, obviously you put up a lot of yards last week, but just be able to kind of finish those drives with points this week versus last week?
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot more fun when you put the ball in the end zone. I know we had a lot of yards last week. It was a little bit frustrating not scoring and putting up the points that we should have, but this week, still a lot to work on and get better at, but it was nice to finish some of those drives.
What's kind of like the vibe in this locker room now compared to maybe this time last year?
I think, you know, being 0-2 is not very fun, and then being 2-0 is a lot more fun. But I would say, you know, we're just taking it 1 week at a time. We're happy to go 1-0 this week, and we're going to celebrate it tonight, and then next week got a big opponent coming here, and yeah, that's just our approach. So I think everyone's in good spirits after, you know, the win and everything. But yeah, we're just taking it 1 week at a time.
How would you consider your performance last week compared to today, and how does it feel to be able to come out there and be a stat leader, you know, on the board today and score that touchdown?
Yeah, personally, I don't think I played up to the standard I wanted to last week, and even today there was a lot that I felt like I left out there. I think just as the offense today, like I said, we finished some of those drives. We still got a lot of work on, and we're happy to get the win, no doubt. But just moving forward, like looking forward to a good week of practice, clean those things up, and again, a big opponent next week.
You like seeing Evan go out there, pick up that first down in the red zone?
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun play to install Evan in the backfield again. I'm sure he loved it, and could see it moving forward. I don't know, but yeah, that was a lot of fun.
John, it seems like there's a tendency right now or an impetus to get you the ball quickly. Is that something that you feel like you're comfortable with, being more of a running back, getting the ball kind of at the line of scrimmage and then turning upfield?
Yeah, whatever is asked of me. I think my role kind of in the offense, you know, I can think back like 2 years ago. That was something that we did a lot of. And just whatever's asked of me, I want to do it to the best of my ability. And I think something that will come along with this offense getting better moving forward is, you know, pushing the ball downfield. We've had a lot of, you know, getting the ball in playmakers' hands and doing stuff after the catch, and our running backs have been great and all that sort of stuff. But I think we're going to be looking to, you know, improve in all areas of the offense.
Yeah, you just talked about the running backs. How nice is it to have a bunch of different guys that can come out and make plays, and then how much does that open it up for you guys through the air?
Yeah, we got a deep running back room. Whoever's in the back, whoever's lined up in the backfield, you could ask anyone on the offense. Like, we got full faith that they're going to go and do their thing, and it's a lot of fun to have that. And they've been doing a great job in all areas, pass protection, you know, running the rock, doesn't matter. They're doing great. So it's a good feeling to have a deep running back room moving forward for the rest of the year.
So very, very close to back-to-back shutouts for this defense. Is anything about that group surprised you at all through the first 2 weeks?
No surprises. I think going against them all camp, you could have said, like anyone on offense would have said, I mean, these guys play ball, like they play fast and physical. And, you know, just as camp went on, you could see some of these younger guys and new guys stepping into their role and figuring out how to play one play at a time, an entire game or an entire practice. And it's been a lot of fun, and definitely for the offense, very nice to have the defense that we're having now. And I mean, we all expect that they're going to be making plays moving forward like they are.
You kind of answered the question I wanted to ask, but, you know, all these new transfers coming in, and Coach said that they're meshing really well. Can you kind of elaborate more of what you see in the locker room and during practice from these transfers coming in?
Yeah, I think that just with how college football is now, there's a lot of new guys coming to the locker rooms, and I think here in Laramie, we got a great group of leaders, and we've done a really good job of doing stuff outside of football to build that chemistry, that camaraderie. And on the defensive side of ball, with a lot of new guys in the secondary or at linebacker or whatnot, I just think day in and day out of camp, like camp is hard, like no matter where you are, and I think we kind of embraced that, and the guys on the defense side of the ball embraced it, and you see we got a lot of depth, we got a lot of playmakers, and they've seemed to really, you know, shown that they have meshed well.
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
Ethan, I told you.
It's 7-0 right now. Yeah.
Might be the greatest thing.
No, I would have thought. All right, questions for Mr. Boss.
Tyrese, Chris Durr just told us that he's not shocked at all that you've been playing so well these first 2 games of your college career. Is anything even surprised? Have you surprised yourself at all how good you've been so far?
No, I think I still have a lot on the table that I have left to prove. You know, going through that whole camp and stuff, and coming off that injury was kind of like mentally. I knew I had to like take those steps and keep going and no setbacks. So I mean, I haven't really surprised myself yet. I know the play's still to come, and there's so many more games that I know I can surprise myself. So, I mean, there's still a lot more I have to do. But, yes, I think I just been, you know, feeling the role, doing the best I can. So, yes, sir.
How encouraging has it been to get all these takeaways so far in these first 2 weeks and hold these 2 teams to 7 points combined in 2 games?
I mean, yes, I think, you know, that comes from the whole defense as a whole. You know, as a defense, we just been having a lot of connection. You know, we talk a lot more, and our connection on the field is just the connection that we have as a group is just making it so much easier to move on the field. So, I mean, you know, holding both teams to a low-scoring game is just, you know, that's something that we have a goal to do every time. So next week, following week after that, every game basically is just that's our goal, is to let people know that, you know, it's not going to be easy. You know, I feel like coming off of last season too, we're looked at as an underdog in a way. So I feel like, you know, that gives the defense a real big drive to be that way and play those games that type of way. So, yes, sir.
You've faced Landon Sims a lot. We haven't seen him as much. What to expect from him if he's the guy going forward?
You know, he could play. Landon could play. He's a dual threat quarterback. I think he could run very well. He could pass very well. He has good vision when looking in the offense and stuff like that. So, I mean, I would love to see him, you know, get more plays and get more experience on the field. So, I mean, I think he could add a real big part to our offense and make it even go way further than what it has and stuff. So, yes, sir.
We talked a little bit about just kind of you getting a taste of the action last year. What was it like for you to go out there today and play the role you get to play in front of all these fans at home?
Yeah, I think, you know, the environment was, you know, even against Akron, it wasn't like today. So, I mean, it was obviously like it gave me a lot of energy and a lot of like motive to want to do good and play better. So, I mean, you know, I don't think you can get better than a home game in Laramie. I just loved it. It was, you know, like I said, the energy from the fans, sideline, even our own like offense. Every time defense made a play, offense would come down and celebrate with the defense. So I mean, I loved it. I think it was just it's a blessing to play in Laramie, to be honest. You know, just be in that environment and with those fans and stuff. So.
Obviously, you can talk to the new guys about it, you know, all week. Their first game at War Memorial Stadium. You know, how special was it to experience them do that? But also, how big is it for them to understand what it's like?
I mean, honestly, you know, I wish we would have had a home game first game. But I mean, I think it's just the, you know, the environment. It's another thing. Like, you know, we have to go play these big schools back to back with the environment that we have in Laramie. So I mean, I think, like I said, the crowd just helps the team with the energy and stuff like that, and we just keep building off of the energy that we got. So, I think that's where it's coming to right now. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.